Okay, good afternoon all students. In last lecture, we have studied what is meant by volumetric strain. Okay, and how to find out volumetric strain for cube, cylindrical rod and which shape rectangular block. Okay, so today we will continue next point, that is one elastic constant is remaining for study out. Two elastic constants already we have studied it. Okay, which two elastic constants we have studied it in previous lecture? Anyone please? Which two elastic constants we have studied it in previous lecture?
Poisson's ratio and volumetric strain.
Poisson's ratio and volumetric strain. These are the elastic constants.
Young's modulus and shear modulus.
Good. Young's modulus and shear modulus. Okay. These two elastic constants we have already studied it. So today we will see remaining elastic constants. Okay. Already we have studied it two elastic constants, that is Young's modulus. Young's modulus. Young's modulus is denoted by using E letter. So Young's modulus which is equal to. Anyone please define? Just we will take revision. Okay. Anyone please define?
Young's modulus is the ratio of normal stress to the normal strain.
Okay, good. Young's modulus is the ratio of normal stress to the normal strain. Okay, normal stress to the normal strain. And second elastic constant we have studied it, that is shear modulus. Shear modulus or modulus of rigidity. Shear modulus or modulus of rigidity. So this shear modulus or modulus of rigidity is denoted by using C or G. So anyone please define how to find out shear modulus? What is the definition of the shear modulus?
It is the ratio of shear stress to shear strain.
Okay, good. It is the ratio of shear stress to shear strain. It is the ratio of shear stress to the shear strain. Okay. These two elastic constants already we have studied it. Now we will see remaining one elastic constant. Okay, one remaining elastic constant. Write down please. Third elastic constant, that is bulk modulus. Third elastic constant is bulk modulus. Bulk modulus. Okay. For that, you please draw this figure simultaneously. So I will explain. Okay. Draw figure with me. So our time will be consumed. Okay. Suppose this is block. On that block, we are going to apply number of forces. Okay, suppose this is our P. Suppose this is P1, this is P2, and this is P3. Due to this application of force, here stress will be generated and strain will be generated. This is sigma 1, suppose, and this is epsilon 1. Likewise here, sigma 2, epsilon 2. Here also sigma 3, epsilon 3. Or we can say here sigma x, epsilon x, sigma y, epsilon y, sigma z, epsilon z. Okay. So this is our block. On that block, we are going to apply number of forces simultaneously. Okay. So first we will assume stress along x direction, which is equal to stress along y direction, which is equal to stress along z direction, which is equal to normal stress. Okay, this is our first assumption. That is, here area is constant. Okay, so on this constant area, we are going to apply number of forces. Okay, so here generated stress will be constant. That's why I have written here sigma x, which is equal to sigma y, which is equal to sigma z, which is equal to sigma. Okay. Now, already we have find out volumetric strain, that is sigma x, or this is called as epsilon 1. Okay. So formula for this, sigma x divided by E minus mu into sigma x divided by E minus mu into sigma x divided by E. Okay. This formula I have written from volumetric strain equation. Okay. I will write here equation, that is epsilon 1, which is equal to sigma 1 upon E minus mu into sigma 2 upon E minus mu into sigma 3 upon E. But here one assumption is there. Stress along any plane or stress along any direction is same. That's why I have written here, instead of this sigma 2, I have written here sigma x. And instead of this sigma 3, I have written here sigma x. Okay. So which is equal to sigma x with epsilon x, that is volumetric strain along x direction, which is equal to sigma x upon E minus mu into sigma x upon E minus mu into sigma x upon E. Now we will take one term common. Which term we will take common from that equation? Anyone please guess? Which term we will take common?
Sigma x upon E.
Okay, we will take sigma x upon E because of all three parameters. Okay, here one equation, in that three conditions are there. In that sigma x upon E is common. So we will take sigma x upon E common. So in bracket, what is remaining in bracket? Sigma x upon E. So 1 minus mu minus mu. This is remaining. Again, we will simplify this. Sigma x, sorry, epsilon x, which is equal to sigma x upon E. In bracket. Now you will tell me, in bracket, which term is remaining?
1 minus 2 mu.
1 minus 2 mu. Okay, 1 minus 2 mu. Okay, this is our basic equation. Now we will see, suppose this is the dimensions of this cube. Okay, suppose these are the dimensions of this cube. This width, length, and height is A. Now you have to calculate volume. Okay, you have to calculate volume. So V, which is equal to, how to find out volume? A multiply by A multiply by A, which is equal to A. This is the volume. Okay, suppose I have to take a derivation of this volume. So del V, which is equal to derivative of this A cube is 3A square into del A. 3A square into del A. This is our derivative. Suppose you have to find out here volumetric strain. So volumetric strain epsilon V, which is equal to change in volume upon original volume. Change in volume upon original volume. So change in volume is 3A square del A divided by A cube. So this A square and 1A gets cancelled. So what is remaining? 3
into del A
upon A. So this is called as 3 into epsilon A. 3 into epsilon A. But it hexagonal conjugation का है का? Okay. Here we have assumed the side of this cube is A. Okay. So side of this cube is A, then you have to find out volume. So volume which is equal to first side multiply by second side multiply by third side. So volume which is equal to A into A into A. So you get A cube. After that you have to find out change in volume. So how to find out change in volume? By taking derivative of this volume. So derivative of this B is del V, which is equal to, now you have to take derivative of this A cube. So derivative of this A cube is 3A square del A. Then you have to find out volumetric strain. So volumetric strain which is equal to change in volume upon original volume, and change in volume is 3A square del A divided by A cube, that is original volume. This A square and 1A square gets cancelled. So what is remaining? 3 del A upon A, that is 3 epsilon A. Okay, 3 epsilon A. Now we will rearrange this equation. Okay, we will rearrange this equation, or we have to write this equation in terms of this epsilon V. Okay, so epsilon V which is equal to, epsilon V which is equal to 3 epsilon X. 3 epsilon X which is equal to 3 epsilon X which is equal to 3 into sigma X upon E, sigma X upon E in bracket 1 minus 2 mu, in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. So here this sigma X upon E into 1 minus 2 mu. Okay, now we will rearrange this equation. Okay, we will rearrange this equation. बघ आपण काय केलेलं आहे की हे आपल्याकडे इक्वेशन आलेलं आहे, तर ह्या इक्वेशनला आपण एप्सिलॉन व्ही म्हणजे व्हॉल्युमेट्रिक स्ट्रेनच्या फॉर्म मध्ये कन्वर्ट केलेलं आहे. ओके, नाउ वी विल कन्वर्ट इनटू सिग्मा एक्स. मला काय करायचं की इक्वेशन सिग्मा एक्सच्या टर्म मध्ये करायचं, तर काय करावं लागेल, कसं कराल ते इक्वेशन, हा ई आहे तो आपला एप्सिलॉन व्ही कडे मल्टिप्लिकेशन मध्ये जाईल, म्हणजे काय होईल तुमचं एप्सिलॉन व्ही इंटू ई डिवायडेड बाय एप्सिलॉन व्ही इंटू ई डिवायडेड बाय 3 1 minus 2 mu. Okay, 1 minus 2 mu which is equal to sigma x. बघा लक्षात येते का, epsilon v which is equal to, already we have derived here one equation. Okay, so epsilon v which is equal to 3 times change in volume, change in volume. So here epsilon v which is equal to 3 into epsilon x. आणि एप्सिलॉन एक्स ची व्हॅल्यू काय आहे आपल्याकडे इथं, सिग्मा एक्स अपॉन ई इन ब्रॅकेट 1 minus 2 mu. हे आपली काय झालं, एप्सिलॉन व्ही विच इज इक्वल टू 3 सिग्मा एक्स अपॉन ई इन ब्रॅकेट 1 minus 2 mu. बट आता आपल्याला काय करायचं की सिग्मा एक्सच्या टर्म मध्ये इक्वेशन करायचं. ओके, सिग्मा एक्सच्या, म्हणून काय केला, हा ई एप्सिलॉन व्ही कडे मल्टिप्लिकेशन मध्ये गेला आणि आपल्याला सिग्मा एक्सच्या टर्म मध्ये इक्वेशन करण्यासाठी काय मिळालं, एप्सिलॉन व्ही इंटू ई डिवायडेड बाय 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. Okay, 1 minus 2 mu, so, which is equal to sigma x. So this E divided by 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu, this is called as K. Therefore, sigma x which is equal to K into epsilon V. This is our bulk modulus. This K is called as bulk modulus, and the value of K which is equal to E divided by 3 1 minus 2. So this is our third one elastic constant. This is called as bulk modulus. Okay, once again I will repeat. We have taken this one cube. On that cube we applied number of forces. Okay, so we assumed here one condition, stress along x direction, stress along y direction, and stress along z direction which is equal to normal stress. Okay, which is equal to normal stress. For deriving this equation, already one equation with you. Okay, already one equation with you, that is epsilon 1 volumetric strain along one plane which is equal to sigma 1 upon E minus mu into sigma 2 upon E minus mu into sigma 3 upon E. But as per our assumption, we will put here sigma 2 as a sigma x and sigma 3 as a sigma x, that is sigma. Okay, so I have put here epsilon x which is equal to sigma x upon E minus mu into sigma x upon E minus mu into sigma x upon E. After that, I have taken sigma x upon e as a common. बघा इथे काय केलं आपण sigma x upon e common घेतलेला आहे. So in bracket here 1 is remaining, so 1, here minus mu is remaining and here minus mu. So epsilon x which is equal to sigma x upon e in bracket 1 minus 2 mu is remain. Okay. After that, one basic concept you have to learn. So side of this cube is A. Side of cube is A. And you have to find out volume. So volume which is equal to A into A into A, that is A cube. After that, you have to find out change in volume. So how to find out change in volume? By taking derivative. So del V which is equal to 3A square del A. After that, next epsilon V which is equal to change in volume upon original volume. So here a square and a square gets cancelled. So what is remaining? 3 del A upon A which is equal to 3 epsilon A. That is epsilon V which is equal to 3 times epsilon A. Okay. Now we have to put here this basic equation. Put here this basic equation. So how to put here equation? Okay, I will write here epsilon V which is equal to 3 times epsilon X. Okay, 3 times epsilon X as per this basic concept. And epsilon x already we have calculated in this step. Okay, epsilon x already we have calculated in this step. So here I have put value of this epsilon x. Epsilon x value of epsilon x is sigma x upon e in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. Okay. After that, I have converted equation in terms of sigma x. Okay, in terms of sigma x. I will erase this part so you will understand easily. Here what is remaining? Only epsilon v which is equal to 3 sigma x upon e in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. Now you have to convert this equation in terms of sigma x. So this e going here multiply by and this 3 and 1 minus 2 at denominator. So epsilon v into e divided by 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu which is equal to sigma x. And this e divided by 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 is called as k. So this is called as bulk modulus. So sigma x which is equal to k into epsilon v, and our third elastic constant bulk modulus with k which is equal to Young's modulus divided by 3 in bracket 1 minus 2. So this is our third elastic constant called as bulk modulus. Okay. Please write down this. If you have any doubt in any step, ask me. Otherwise, please write down. After your writing is over, let me know. So I will move towards next point. Okay, if your writing is over, shall I go to next point? Anyone, please give me reply, or you want time for writing?
Wait,
Wait,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, let me know after your writing is over, okay? Sharad Narute from diploma side. Sharad, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you from diploma?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. You have not written roll number, that's why I am asking. No problem, you will attend lecture. Roll number 34, Chaitanya Tandole.
Yes.
Please write your proper name. SA-34, then your name. Roll number 40, Rohit Gaikwad. '26, Vishal Kadam. Okay, shall I go to next point?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So now we have discussed the three constants. First is Young's modulus, second is shear modulus, and third one which is bulk modulus. Now we will see interrelation between these three elastic constants. Okay, so please write down next point. Next point is interrelation between elastic constants. Interrelation between elastic constants. So two equations already we know that is G, which is equal to okay. So two equations already we know that G, which is equal to E divided by 2 in bracket 1 plus mu. And second equation, that is K, which is equal to E divided by 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. In 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. Okay. So now we have to learn what is the interrelation between these E, G, and K. Okay. So from these two equations, here one term is common, that is mu. So we will rearrange equation in terms of mu. Okay. So first we will take first equation. That is G, which is equal to E divided by 2 in bracket 1 plus mu. So we have to convert this equation in terms of mu. So G, which is equal to E divided by, we will multiply by this 2 into this bracket. So 2 plus 2 mu. Okay. Now we will shift this 2 plus 2 mu term left side and this G term right side. Okay. So 2 plus 2 mu, which is equal to E divided by G. Now you have to shift this to right side. So 2 mu, which is equal to E divided by G minus 2. This is our equation 1. Okay. Why I have rearranged this equation in terms of mu? Because of in these two equations, mu term is common. That's why you have to rearrange equation in terms of mu. So this is our first equation, 2 mu, which is equal to E divided by G minus 2. Okay. After that, next we will solve this K equation. Okay, K terms equation. So this equation is K, which is equal to E divided by 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. Okay. Now we have to rearrange this equation in terms of mu. Okay, in terms of mu. So I will take this denominator part to left side and this K to right side. Okay. So 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu, which is equal to E divided by K. Okay. Once again, we will shift 1 minus 2 mu, 1 minus 2 mu, which is equal to E divided by this 3 here at denominator, 3K. Okay. Now we will shift this 2 mu part to right side because of here is in negative. So 1 minus E divided by 3K, which is equal to 2 mu, which is equal to 2 mu. But it, how to solve this? लक्षात आले का बघा हे कसं केलं? 1 minus E divided by 3K, which is equal to 2 mu. Okay, I will multiply here. So 3K minus E divided by 3K, which is equal to 2 mu, which is equal to 2 mu. याच्यात काही डाऊट आहे का? हे लक्षात आलं का कसं ट्रान्सफर केलेलं आहे ते?
आपण 3 ने मल्टिप्लाय केलं तर चालते का ते 1 minus 2 mu ला?
यस, मल्टिप्लाय केलं तर चालेल, पण ते कॉम्प्लिकेशन्स वाढतील. त्यासाठी आपण काय केलं, डायरेक्टली 3 ऍज इट इज ठेवलेलं. त्यामुळे आपल्याला इक्वेशन काय मिळालं मग 3K minus E divided by 3K, which is equal to 2 mu. Okay. So here we will also simplify 2 mu, which is equal to E minus 2G divided by G. Okay. E minus 2G divided by G. We will make denominator same. So this is our equation 1 and this is our equation 2. Now we will equate both equations. We will equate both equations. We will equate both equations. Okay. Now we will equate equation 1 and equation 2. Equate equation 1 and equation 2. So in equation 2 mu and in equation 2 mu. So this 2 mu already this is same. So we will take this only E minus 2G divided by G, which is equal to this remaining part, that is 3K minus E divided by 3K. Now we will separate terms KK and GG. So for that, multiply by this 3K to E minus 2G and G to 3K minus E. Okay. So we will multiply. So 3K into E, that is 3KE minus 3K into 2G, that is 6kg, which is equal to, now we will multiply by this G to this 3K minus E term. So G into 3K, that is 3 kg. Then minus G into E is G. Now we will rearrange equation. So kg terms at one side and E terms at one side. Okay. E terms at one side. So now you tell me how to convert this equation. Anyone?
Three KE plus GE is equal to 3 kg plus 6 kg.
Okay, 3 KE. This GE term we will take here left side. So plus GE. Okay, which is equal to 3 kg. This minus term, but when this shift at right side, it will get positive. So plus 6 kg. Okay. So 3 KE plus GE, which is equal to 3 kg plus 6 kg. Now 3 KE plus GE, which is equal to 3 plus 6, which is equal to
9.
9 kg. 9 kg. Now from left side, one parameter we will take common. Which parameter we will take common? Anyone please guess?
E.
E. Okay. E. So E in bracket. What is remaining? 3K plus G, which is equal to 9 kg. Therefore, E, which is equal to 9 kg divided by 3K plus G. This is our relation between elastic constant. 9 kg divided by 3K plus G. Okay, this is our derivation. Once again, I will repeat. So already you know that this equation G, which is equal to E divided by 2 in bracket 1 plus mu, and second equation that is K, which is equal to E divided by 3 1 minus 2 mu. So in these two equations mu term is common, so you have to rearrange the equation in terms of mu. So we will multiply by these two whole bracket, that is 2 plus 2 mu. Again, this shift this 2 plus 2 mu to left side. So 2 plus 2 mu, which is equal to E divided by G. After rearranging, you will get 2 mu, which is equal to E minus 2G upon G. This is our equation 1. Now from equation second, you have to rearrange equation in terms of mu. So K, which is equal to E divided by 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. Suppose you have to multiply by these 3 to whole bracket, no problem, you multiply. But complications occurred, that's why I have not multiplied. So 3 in bracket 1 minus 2 mu, which is equal to E divided by K. This K shifts move towards right side. So 1 minus 2 mu, which is equal to E divided by, again this 3 going denominator, so 3K. 1 minus E divided by 3K, which is equal to 2 mu. So here 2 mu and 2 mu are same. So we will equate this E minus 2G divided by G and 3K minus E divided by 3K. After equating, now you have to rearrange equation likewise. So G part, KE part at say one side and KG part at one side. So 3KE plus GE, which is equal to 3 kg plus 6 kg. So 3 plus 6, that is 9 kg. From that E we will take common. So E in bracket, what is remaining? 3K plus G, which is equal to 9 kg. So finally you will get E, which is equal to 9 kg divided by 3K plus G. Okay, so please remember these equations. Definitely one question will ask on your online examination or GATE examination or any type of competitive examination. So please remember this equation E, which is equal to 9 kg divided by 3K plus G. Okay, please write down. If you have doubt, please ask. Otherwise, please write down.
हर मैम
Okay. Okay, you have to remember. May audible na?
यस मैम
Okay. When you are remembering all equations, at that time, I will give one trick to how to remember equations. So, first equation. Okay. First equation, E which is equal to 2G in bracket 1 plus mu. Okay. So, I have rearranged this equation in terms of E. Suppose this is second equation. Okay, second equation, E which is equal to 3K in bracket 1 minus 2 mu. And last third one equation which is equal to E which is equal to 9 kg divided by 3K plus G. Okay, these three equations are most important when if you are going to give any any competitive examination or GATE examination, definitely one equation will be asked in objective. Okay, so these are the three equations you have to remember. So for first equation, I will give one trick. Okay, 2G spectrum घोटाळा असा काही वर्ड वगैरे ऐकलाय का तुम्ही? स्पेक्ट्रम घोटाळा वगैरे तुम्ही आता लहान असाल त्यावेळी. सो हाउ टू रिमेंबर दिस फर्स्ट इक्वेशन? 2G स्पेक्ट्रम घोटाले में एक से बढ़कर एक, 2G स्पेक्ट्रम घोटाले में एक से बढ़कर एक, दैट इज 1 प्लस म्यू. एक तुम्ही फर्स्ट इक्वेशन असं लक्षात ठेवू शकता. ओके, अँड सेकंड इक्वेशन कसं लक्षात ठेवायचं बघा. सेकंड इथे ऑलरेडी तुमच्या लक्षात राहील 3K 1 मायनस 2 म्यू. सेकंडला काही जास्त ट्रिक देता. We will move towards next point. This is the interrelation between elastic constants. So our all three elastic constants are over. Now I will move towards next point. Please write down next point. Assumptions of elastic limits. Next point is assumptions of elastic limits. Assumptions of elastic limits. So in that, first write down one sentence. Under such assumptions, we can neglect some of the inflectional factors of minor importance. Okay. Below we will see some assumptions, but from that we will neglect one or two assumptions because of they have minor importance. So please write down first assumption. Write down first assumption. First assumption is the body is continuous. The body is continuous. Body is continuous. Okay. First you write down, then I will explain what is meant by body is continuous. First you write down whole body is filled with continuous matters without any void, without any void. Okay, this helps in getting stresses, strains and displacement continuously. Displacement continuously. Okay, this is our first assumption. First assumption is the body is continuous. In that, whole body is filled with continuous matter. Okay, suppose for that I have taken this is cube. Okay, I have taken this is suppose cube. Now I am going to fill material in that cube. At that time, you have to take care all parts or all layers are filled without any voids. All layers are filled without any voids. जे बॉडी कंटिन्युअस आहे आपण कधी म्हणू शकतो जर या बॉडी मध्ये विदाउट एनी void म्हणजे कुठेही गॅप नसताना मटेरियल फिल केलेलं असेल तर then and then only we will say the body is in continuous. Okay, if our body is in continuous, at that time automatically you will get more strength. Okay, automatically you will get more strength. Suppose this is our body which is filled continuously, and suppose this is our hollow body. Okay, this is our hollow body. Here hole is there. Now you told me which body will take maximum load? Which body will take maximum load?
First body.
First body, that is whole filled body. Okay, whole filled body, that is continuous body. बघा ज्या बॉडी मध्ये मटेरियल कंटिन्युअस फिल केलेलं असेल विदाउट एनी void, so this body will get maximum load. So automatically you will get stresses and strain and deformation continuously. Suppose you are going to apply load on hollow material, at that time this member will fail at their hollow portion. बघा जर आपला काय आहे की suppose this is our member. This is our member, and on that member suppose here hole, one hole is there, and now I am going to apply load. जर इथे होल असेल तर ते तुमचा मेंबर काय होणार आहे होल मधून बेंड होणार आहे म्हणजे जिथे होल आहे तिथून त्याचे दोन पार्ट. So if our body is continuous, at that time definitely this body will get maximum load and give maximum strain. So body is in continuous means you have to fill body continuously without any void. म्हणजे त्याच्यात कुठलाही गॅप नसला पाहिजे अशी आपल्याला बॉडी फिल करायची आहे. This is our assumption 1. Okay. Now please write down second assumption. Write down second assumption. Assumption second. The body is perfectly elastic. The body is perfectly elastic. The body is perfectly elastic. First you write down, then I will explain. Okay. So when we say body is perfectly elastic, whole body obeys Hooke's law. Whole body obeys Hooke's law. Whole body obeys Hooke's law. Then this body is called as elastic body. Okay. So this helps in keeping the elastic constant elastic, the elastic constant, E, independent of stresses, independent of stress and strain component, independent of stress and strain component. Strain component. Okay. So already you know that Hooke's law states that stress is directly proportional to strain within elastic limit or within limit of proportionality. Up to limit of proportionality, our stress is directly proportional to strain. After elastic limit, stress is not directly proportional to strain. So how to identify our this is our stress strain graph. Okay. After that, this graph will be changed like that. Up to this point, up to limit of proportionality, stress is directly proportional to strain. That is, this line shows linear line. Line काय आहे तुमची linear line आहे. That is, stress is directly proportional to strain. That means the amount of stress increase, the same amount of strain also increase. So this is called as stress is directly proportional to strain. So when we say body is perfectly elastic, if our body obeys Hooke's law, that is stress is directly proportional to strain, then we will say the body is perfectly elastic. Our body is perfectly elastic. At that time, our Young's modulus is independent. Young's modulus is independent. That is, this Young's modulus is not dependent on stress and strain component. So this is our second assumption. Then we will move towards third assumption. So our third assumption is the body is homogeneous. The body is homogeneous. Now anyone please unmute and tell me when we say material is homogeneous. Anyone? Anyone, at least try. When we say the body is homogeneous or material is homogeneous.
Same composition throughout the body.
Same composition throughout the body. Okay, good. Anyone? I want exact definition.
Elastic properties are same at every point.
Elastic properties are same at every point, or elastic properties are same throughout the body, then this body is called as homogeneous body. Okay. First you write down, then I will explain. Okay. So when we say body is homogeneous, the elastic properties are same. Elastic properties are same throughout the body. Throughout the body, or at every point. At every point. This is called as homogeneous. Okay, elastic properties are same throughout the body or at every point. So this is called as homogeneous. Okay. The elastic constant will be independent of location of body. Independent of a location of body. Okay. So suppose this is our member, and in that, whenever you are going to check elastic properties, at that time So elastic properties are same at every point or throughout the body, then this body is called as homogeneous body. Okay. If our body is homogeneous, at that time, wherever you have to check elastic constant. So this elastic constant is independent. Okay. So this is our third assumption. Now we will take next assumption, assumption number 4. The body is isotropic. The body is isotropic. When we say body is isotropic, already you know that. Anyone please? When we say body is isotropic,
Elastic properties are same in all directions.
Same in all directions.
okay, good. Elastic properties are same in all directions. Suppose here, you have to check here, 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 also here. So, elastic properties are same at every direction. This is called as body is isotropic. The elastic properties are same. Elastic properties are same in all direction. In all direction. Then we will say the body is isotropic. This is our fourth assumption. And now we will see our last assumption, fifth assumption. The displacement and strains are small. The displacement and strains are small. Displacement and strains are small. First you write down, then I will explain. Deformation are very small. Deformation are very small as compared to dimension. As compared to dimension of the body. Dimension of the body. Our last assumption is the displacement and strains are small. So suppose this is our block or this is our. Now we are going to perform test or applying load. At that time here deformation is very small as compared to dimension. Deformation is very small as compared to dimension. At that time we will assume the displacement and strains are small or negligible. So these are the assumptions of elastic constants. Please remember these 5 assumptions required in remaining 7 chapters. So first assumption is the body is continuous. When we say body is continuous, if body is filled without any void, this is called as body is continuous. After that, second assumption, body is perfectly elastic. When we say body is perfectly elastic, if whole body obeys Hooke's law, that is within limit of proportionality, stress is directly proportional to strain, then we will say body is perfectly elastic. If our body is perfectly elastic, at that time our Young's modulus is independent of stress and strain component. Then third assumption, the body is homogeneous. Already we have studied a property of this homogeneous or homogeneity. So homogeneous means elastic properties are same throughout the body or elastic properties are same at every point. This is called as homogeneous. And isotropic means elastic properties are same in all directions. So this is called as isotropic, and displacement and strains are small because of our deformation is very small as compared to dimension. That's why this fifth assumption is there. Okay. Your writing is over. Anybody have any doubt? If you okay, if your writing is over, shall I move towards next point? Yes, please, anyone. Shall I move towards next point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Write down next theoretical part. This is last theory part. Saint Venant's principle. Saint Venant principle. Saint Venant principle. Saint Venant's Saint Venant's principle. Saint Venant principle. Okay. First, I will explain, then we will write down theory. Suppose this is column. Okay. Please don't draw this figure. Okay, I will give you. Okay, this is suppose this is long column, and on that column, one person is resting here. One person is resting here. Suppose. On that column, one person is resting here. Suppose. So the weight of this person is suppose 100 kg. 100 kg. So this load is transferred by these two legs. Okay, by these two legs on that particular area. On that particular area. Now, suppose second case. This is second case. Same column is there. Same column is there, and this person rests on one leg only, and one leg is hanging here. Okay, one leg only, and weight is same, 100 kg. Okay. Now, load is same, but area on that load is transferred area is reduced. So here load is transferred like this. बघा इथे काय होते की वेट सेम आहे, पण तो ट्रान्सफर होण्याचा एरिया काय झालेला आहे तुमचा इथे कमी झालेला आहे. ओके, दिस इज सेकंड केस. And suppose this is our third case. Suppose this is our third case. Same column is there, and this person is resting only on her toe, on his toe, only on his toe. That is only one finger. So weight is same. Okay, load is same, but transferred area. Okay, but transferred area is very less. So likewise, area will be transferred. Okay. When this person standing on both legs, at that time area load will be transferred likewise. Half load will take that much surface, and half load will take that much surface. When he stands on one leg, at that time load transfers likewise. Okay, so area will be reduced. And here in third case, this person stands only on their toe. So load is same, but area will be reduced. So our principle is that if person is standing or any load is acting on that portion or on that side, stress distribution will change. But when we take effect on either side or some distance at that time, stress will be constant. Stress will be constant. This principle states by Saint Venant. Okay, this is our understanding purpose. But now I will draw figures. So from that, you will be able to understand what is our basic concepts. Okay, now you will draw figures simultaneously with me. Okay, draw these figures. Suppose this is our body 1. This is our body 2nd. And this is our body 3rd. Okay. As per our discussion, in first figure, we are applying load. This is P and this is load P. Okay. If load is applied, at that time this load will be distributed likewise. This load will be distributed likewise. Okay. Here also this load will be distributed likewise. बघा म्हणजे जिथं लोड अप्लाय करतोय त्या पोर्शनला लोड डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होते. पण मी जर तो लोड डिस्टन्स वर चेक केला म्हणजे त्याच्या अदर एंडला चेक केला तर इथे मात्र स्ट्रेस ऍज इट इज राहतोय. स्ट्रेस विच इज इक्वल टू फोर्स अपॉन एरिया. इथं काही चेंज होतोय का? इथे काहीही चेंज होत नाही. सो change will be occurred at that particular surface, but you are observing other surface at that time, there will be no change. Okay, now we will take second figure. We will take second example. Suppose here same load applied, but I have applied in 2 parts. I have applied in 2 parts. Okay, I have applied in here 2 parts. Here P by 2 and P by 2. Suppose you take addition P by 2 plus P by 2, which is equal to how much? P by 2 plus P by 2, which is equal to P. Okay, so load is same, but I have distributed in 2 parts. So now this stress distribution is likewise. Stress distribution is likewise. Here. Stress distribution is likewise. That means area of this stress distribution have changed. Look, but where? At that particular surface. Now I am going to check at some distance or at other end. At that time, stress will be same, which is equal to P by E. This is second condition. Now I will take third condition. Okay, you have to apply same force, but you have to divide in 3 parts. Same force, that is intensity is same, but you have to divide into 3 parts. So P by 3, P by 3 and P by 3. So you take addition, automatically you get P by 3 plus P by 3 plus P by 3, which is equal to P. Okay. So load is same, but area will be here different. Now stress distribution also vary here. So here stress distribution likewise. But this stress distribution at only the particular surface. म्हणजे ते स्ट्रेस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन काय आहे तुमचं त्या पर्टिक्युलर सरफेसच्या भोवती आहे. म्हणजे कुठे चेंज होते तुमचं हे स्ट्रेस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन त्या पर्टिक्युलर सरफेसला. बट व्हेन आय एम चेकिंग ॲट अ डिस्टन्स ॲट दॅट टाइम दिस स्ट्रेस डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इज निग्लिजिबल अँड हिअर स्ट्रेस व्हॅल्यू we will take as it is, that is P by E. So Saint Venant principle states that if force are acting on a small portions can be replaced by another statically equivalent system of force, this distribution have local variation in stresses, negligible effect on stress at distance. म्हणजे बघा इथे काय होतं की तुमचा फोर्स सेम आहे, पण इथे काय होतं स्ट्रेस डिस्ट्रीब्युशन त्या लोकल प्लेसला चेंज होतं, पण तेच जर तुम्ही डिस्टन्स वर चेक केलं तर ते काय राहतं तुमचं सेम राहतं. सो दिस प्रिन्सिपल स्टेट्स बाय सेंट व्हेनंट. This principle states by Saint Venant. So please write down principle. Write down principle. Saint Venant principle. Saint Venant principle. Okay, please write down theory. The force are acting. The force are acting. The force are acting on a small portions on a small portions can be replaced can be replaced can be replaced by another statically equivalent another statically equivalent another statically equivalent system of forces system of forces this distribution this distribution this distribution will have local variation will have local variation will have local variation in stresses local variation in stresses at have but have negligible negligible effect on stress at a distance at distance stress at distance. Okay, see here in figure 1 force is applied in one point. Okay, at that time stress distribution has changed for that local portion, but at a distance there is negligible effect. In second figure, this force distributed through 2 points. Okay, so stress distribution changed for that particular local point, but when you say observe at a distance, at that time stress will be same. And for figure third, force is same, but this force is distributed in 3 points. Okay, so stress variation is changed at that particular surface, but when you are checking at a distance, so stress is same. So simply Saint Venant principle states that म्हणजे आपण फोर्स ज्या प्लेनला अप्लाय करतोय त्या प्लेनला त्याचं डिस्ट्रीब्युशन चेंज होईल, पण जर ते आपण डिस्टन्सवर चेक केलं तर स्ट्रेस हा तुमचा सेम असणार आहे. This principle states by Saint Venant. Okay, please write down. Let me know after your writing is over. So we will move towards next point.
Oh, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, please write down next point. Composite sections. Write down next point. Composite sections. Composite sections. Composite sections. Okay. Anyone have idea when we say section is composite? कोणाला काय माहिती का आपण कधी म्हणू शकतो सेक्शन हा कंपोजिट सेक्शन आहे? Suppose I have taken this section. I have taken this section. Now you tell me this section is composite section or not? So first I will explain. So what is mean by composite section? So composite section means if any member or material, any member made up by using more than one member. जर आपला काही एखादा पर्टिक्युलर पार्ट असेल तो मोर दॅन वन मेंबरनी जर कनेक्ट होत असेल तर दिस सेक्शन इज कॉल्ड एज कंपोजिट सेक्शन. So when we say section is composite, if our section is made more than one member, this is called as composite section. Okay. So in that there are two conditions. First condition is bars in series and second condition is bars in parallel. Okay, bars in series and bars in parallel. Okay, already we discussed what is meant by composite section. If our member or particular section is made up by using more than two members, this is called as composite section. In that there are two cases. First is bars in series and second is bars in parallel. So first we will see what is meant by bars in series. Okay, what is meant by bars in series? Okay, if member or bars are connected end to end, connected end to end, connected end to end, then this section or bars are called as bars in series. बघा पहिला मेंबर एंड होतोय तिथं दुसरा मेंबर जॉईन झालेला आहे, दुसरा मेंबर एंड होतोय तिथं तिसरा मेंबर जॉईन झालेला आहे. सो दिस मेंबर और बार इज कॉल्ड एज bars in series. Okay, please remember that when we say bars in series, if bars are connected end to end, bars are connected end to end, then this connection is called as bars in series. This connection is called as bars in series. Okay, before going to this point, we will discuss some basic formulas. Already we have studied it. So three basic formulas already we have discussed. First is sigma, which is equal to. Okay, shout fast. Please unmute and tell me sigma, which is equal to. काय stress चा formula? Sigma, which is equal to. How to find out stress? Anyone? Unmute and tell me sigma, which is equal to
Force upon area, P upon A.
force upon area. Second formula we have studied at epsilon, which is equal to epsilon means strain. So strain, which is equal to
Change in length upon original length.
okay, good. Change in length upon original length. And third formula we have discussed regarding Hooke's law. So stress, which is equal to E into epsilon. That is, stress is directly proportional to strain. These are the three basic formulas already we have studied and discussed. From that basic formula, we have to generate one equation. Okay. So first, we will see what is meant by bars in series and what is meant by bars in parallel. If bars are connected end to end, bars are connected end to end. Suppose these are the two members. Now I am going to attach. So this is first member, this is second member. This first and second member are connected end to end. Okay, suppose I have taken third member. Okay, I have taken third member and this third member are connected to the second end. So this connection is called as bars in series. When we say bars in series, if members are connected end to end, this series is called as bars in series or bars. This is first condition. Then second, now we will see what is meant by bars in parallel. In that two conditions are there. Okay. In that two conditions are there. We will discuss one by one. We will discuss here one by one. So bars in parallel. In that first condition is supported by horizontal rigid bar. Suppose this is our first bar. This is our first bar and this is our second bar. And supported by a rigid bar. Okay, supported by rigid bar. What is meant by rigid material? What is meant by rigid material? So if deformation is zero, then this material is called as rigid bar. Okay, this bar is called as rigid bar. म्हणजे ह्या बार मध्ये डिफॉर्मेशन काय होणार आहे तुमचं होणार नाहीये. सो दिस बार इज कॉल्ड एज रिजिड बार. सो फर्स्ट कंडिशन इज बार्स इन पॅरलल. बघा हा फर्स्ट बार आणि सेकंड बार. त्या फर्स्ट बारला सेकंड बार काय आहे तुमचं पॅरलल आहे अँड कनेक्टेड ऑर सपोर्टेड बाय horizontal rigid bar. So this is our first condition. And second condition. Okay, for second condition, I will draw figure here. This is our suppose first bar and this is second bar. This is second bar and these bars are joined here. But I have not hatched here. Bar is rigid, but when I am going to apply load, at that time some deformation is occurred likewise. Some deformation is occurred here. So this is called as inclined rigid bar. म्हणजे इथे काय होते तुमचं डिफॉर्मेशन ऑफर होते पण इथे काय होते तुमचं डिफॉर्मेशन ऑफर होत नाहीये. हे हॉरिझॉन्टल रॉड ने कनेक्ट केलेला आहे. दिस इज कनेक्टेड बाय inclined rod. Okay. So these are the basic two types, bars in series and bars in parallel. If bars are connected end to end, this is bars in series, and bars are parallel but connected by horizontal rigid bar and inclined bar. Okay. So in that we have to apply two equations, or we have to consider two equations. First condition is force condition. First condition is force condition. And second condition is displacement condition. Second condition is displacement condition. Okay. So this is called as force condition. Okay. This is called as force condition. That means P1 which is equal to P2 which is equal to P3. That is force applied in first section which is equal to force applied in second section which is equal to force applied in third section. So this is our force condition. Okay. And here displacement condition, that is delta L1 plus delta L2 plus delta L3 plus that just likewise. That means displacement in first section plus displacement in second section plus displacement in third section, which is equal to total displacement, which is equal to total displacement. So this is our displacement condition, second condition. This is for bars in series. Now we will discuss for bars in parallel. Okay, bars in parallel. So this is force condition. So when bars are parallel, at that time force condition P1 plus P2. Here opposite condition is there, and this is our displacement condition. This is displacement condition. And for inclined rigid bar, this is force condition, and this is displacement condition. Okay, displacement condition. Now you don't take load, but I have tried to explain basic theory. So bars in series and bars in parallel, we have to solve numericals on these two types, bars in series and bars in parallel. So when bars are in series, at that time we have to apply two conditions, force condition and displacement condition. In force condition, you have to apply, or you have to use equation, that is summation F, which is equal to 0. That is, you have to take addition of all forces. Okay, that is P1 which is equal to P2 which is equal to P3. And in displacement condition, you have to take addition of all displacement, change in length for first section, change in length for second section, change in length for third section. So these are the basic theoretical points regarding these composite sections. Okay. Now we will derive one equation based on these three basic formulas. Okay, one equation. Okay, we will derive one equation for composite bar. Already we have discussed the three formulas. Okay, I will write here formulas. First formula, stress which is equal to force upon area. Second formula, strain which is equal to change in length upon original length. And third formula, stress which is equal to E into epsilon. That is, stress is directly proportional to strain. Now we have to find out change in length. Okay, you have to find out change in length. So del L which is equal to epsilon into L. Epsilon into L. Okay, so del L which is equal to, now I have to put value of epsilon. Put value of epsilon from this equation. Now you tell me epsilon which is equal to
Sigma upon
E. So I will put here, okay, del L which is equal to sigma upon E into L. This L we will take as it is. Therefore, del L which is equal to, now we will put sigma which is equal to P by A. We will put sigma which is equal to P by A. So del L which is equal to P by A into L upon E. Because of L upon E already there. Therefore, del L which is equal to PL upon AE. Del L which is equal to PL upon AE. You have to use this equation and solve problems on that two conditions, that is bars in series and bars in parallel. Okay, got it? How to derive this equation? Derivation is not asking in examination, but you have to remember only this equation. Okay, only this equation. So how to derive? For that, three basic formulas are with you. Stress which is equal to force upon area, epsilon which is equal to change in length upon original length, and so Hooke's law, that is sigma which is equal to Young's modulus into strain. Okay, first we will find change in length. Find change in length. So change in length चा formula काय असणार आहे? The formula of change in length del L. Okay, here formula is there na strain. So del L which is equal to epsilon into L. Okay, or otherwise I will write clearly. First, we will write three basic equations. Stress which is equal to force upon area. Second equation, that is strain which is equal to change in length upon original length. And third equation which is equal to stress which is equal to Young's modulus into epsilon. So first find change in length. find change in length. Change in length. So how to find out change in length? By using strain equation, epsilon which is equal to del L upon L. So now you have to find out del L, that is change in length, which is equal to epsilon into L. After that, put value of epsilon in above equation, in above equation. So what is the value of epsilon? Epsilon which is equal to sigma upon E from Hooke's law. From Hooke's law. Okay, now we will put value. Therefore, del L which is equal to sigma upon E into L. Okay. After that, put value of sigma in above equation. Okay. Therefore, okay, sigma which is equal to force upon area. Therefore, del L which is equal to P upon A into L upon E. Finally, therefore, del L which is equal to PL upon AE. This is the equation by combining all basic equations. So you have to remember this equation. So how to find out change in length in bars in series and bars in parallel? At that time, you have to use this equation. Now where? Del L which is equal to change in length. Del L which is equal to change in length. After that, P which is equal to applied load or force. Applied load. After that, L which is equal to original length. L which is equal to original length. Next, A which is equal to cross-sectional area. Cross-sectional area. And E which is equal to Young's modulus. E which is equal to Young's modulus. Okay, Young's modulus. Now you tell me the unit of del L which is equal to, therefore, unit of del L which is equal to, काय असेल वो unit? कौन guess करता है?
मीटर किंवा सेंटीमीटर.
Meter or centimeter. See here, the unit of force is Newton. The unit of length is meter divided by unit of area is meter square and unit of Young's modulus is Newton per meter square. Okay. So this Newton gets cancelled. This meter square comes in numerator. So this meter square and meter square gets cancelled. So what is remaining? Meter or centimeter. So the unit of del L is meter or centimeter. Okay. Please write down this. If you have doubt, ask me. Otherwise, please write down. Oh, you have written that part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, by mistake, I have cleared that. That's why I am asking. Otherwise, I will type once again. Okay, your writing is over.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please write down next point. Already we have discussed, but please write down next point. Compound bar. Write down next. Compound bar. Compound bar. Just you write down definition. When bars are, when bars are connected to each other, bars are connected to each other, connected to each other, connected to each other to form a structure, 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 to take axial loads, to take axial loads, to take axial loads. Such a structure, such a structure, such a structure is called as, structure is called as compound bars, called as compound bars. Such a structure is called as compound bars. Such a structure is called as compound bars. Okay. For example, suppose for example, this is bar 1, this is bar 2, and this is bar 3. So these 3 bars are connected each other for making a structure. बघा हे 3 बार कनेक्ट केल्यानंतर एक स्ट्रक्चर तयार झालेलं आणि हे काय करतायत तुमचा ऍक्सियल लोड कॅरी करतायत. सो दिस स्ट्रक्चर इज कॉल्ड एज कंपाउंड बार. ओके, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज कंपाउंड बार. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज कंपाउंड बार. Please write down this definition. Okay, let me know after your writing is over. Okay, if your writing is over, can I take next point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, in that write down next second point, that is bars in series. First type is bars in series. Bars in series. When we say bars in series, when bars are connected, when bars are connected end to end end to end. Such type of bar is called bars in series. Bars in series. So for that, I will draw figure here. Suppose this is bar 1. Now I am connecting bar 2. And this is bar 3. Here load is applied. Here also load is applied. Here load is applied. And here load is applied. So this is suppose first section, this is second section, and this is third section. Okay. So in that, when you are analyzing or solving problems, so at that time, first step, you have to apply force condition. You have to apply force condition. So in first step, you have to take addition of summation of F, which is equal to 0. You have to take addition of all forces, summation F, which is equal to 0. This is first condition. And second condition, that is displacement condition. Displacement condition. So displacement condition, that is del L1 plus del L2 plus del L3 plus dash del Ln. Okay, which is equal to del L. And how to find out del L? So del L, which is equal to PL upon AE. Okay. So first type of problems we will solve by using these steps. We have to apply force condition, that is, you have to take addition of all forces. P1 plus P2 plus P3 likewise. And second condition is displacement condition. Okay, your writing is over.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so today we will stop here. In next lecture, we will see problems on these bars in series. At that time, you have to use these two steps, force condition and displacement condition. So we will take problems in next lecture. Okay, please don't leave the meeting.